Hi everyone, meteorologist Chad Evans here with a look at your daily weather forecast video, sponsored always by Trent Johnson State Farm. TrentIsMyAgent.com. And I'll tell you, not a day goes by that I don't thank all of our wonderful sponsors and all of you for making this all possible. And through you, we're able to have a truly detailed, truly local forecast to keep up with the ever-changing weather. And we've got a lot of changing weather ahead in what has been an eventful start to the winter, meteorological winter, and eventful very late fall as well. So far, when we look at November, specifically after about the 10th of November, right up to the midpoint of December, this has been a quite snowy, cold pattern. We had a period of near record warmth, though, in late November, but for the most part, snowy and cold. This has been much more like very late December through January than late November and into the first half of December. This is the coldest December since 2000. So far at the Purdue Airport, the snowiest November through December since 1977. We've had 14.8 inches officially in Greater Lafayette. Back in 77, we'd already had about 17.3 inches by this time. The coldest early low temperatures since 77. I mean, we have had low temperatures, 8 below zero yesterday at the Purdue Airport. We were 6 below this morning. Parts of the area have been 14 below zero for low temperatures. And you got to go back to 77 to find anything like that so early. And the coldest high temperature so early since 1977 as well. Our high yesterday at the Purdue Airport was 4 above, and most of the forecast area, the highs were only in the single digits. And the snowiest November since 1951, and the deepest early season snow depths since 77. Back in 77, by this time, we had already had multiple days where we had a foot of snow on the ground. At least in this case, it's not quite like that. I think our peak depth has been about 6 inches. But nonetheless, it's pretty impressive, and the lows this morning are impressive too. 8 below zero at the Flora Airport, Galveston, 5 below zero, but where you had the deepest snowpack, the least amount of wind, and the completely clear skies, another really cold one in the south. And I said the coldest 14 below zero so far. Well, I got to take that back because the New Market temperature this morning did end up just down to 15 below zero. 9 below at the Sheridan Airport, 14 below at Covington. A little more wind up here, but wind chills were as low as 25 below this morning. -5 here at Monon, Marianne, and Remington got down to 4 below zero. And the Lake Village Airport, should be a negative sign there, down to 9 below zero. But the melt and the thaw will continue tomorrow right into the end of the week, with rainfall as well and pretty windy weather. Brief bouts of colder weather are ahead, brief, but they're not going to be major. And overall, this is a pretty mild weather pattern from this point right to the end of 2025, for that matter, with rainfall towards Christmas and another thaw. And it's quite possible there could even be a little bit of thunder around Christmas as well. But 245 temperatures are only in the upper teens to mid-20s. Now that's much better than yesterday, but it's still awfully bitter out there. And we're getting a lot of blowing and drifting snow. Some of the roads are getting covered back up. This is west of Romney on 28. We can see some of the snow blowing across the roadway there. And then you can see where the snow's been blowing over the roadway here. This is south of Ambia, as well as those strong southwest winds pick up this dry, fluffy snow and blow it around. The winds relax some tonight, but we'll have some more wind tomorrow. The thing is, we warm up tomorrow, that upper layer of snow will start to melt and kind of compress, and therefore the blowing snow and drifting will begin to decrease tomorrow afternoon as we get above freezing. But some areas of high and mid-level clouds, we've got some that are passing through now, some more will pass through tonight, and some tomorrow here and there, but they really thicken up with time on Wednesday, and that's a sign of our next storm system coming in that actually brings rain on Thursday. A couple rounds of rainfall coming through Thursday with strong southerly to southwesterly winds, but this is also a pretty sharp, pretty strong cold front. So when this thing goes through, our temperatures may be near 50 to the low 50s, maybe even a few mid 50s, and then it will turn sharply colder, will quickly drop into the 20s and 30s behind it, and there could be a few snow showers and snow flurries. We may end up with a third to about 6/10 of an inch of rainfall, and it's not out of the question there could be a few light dustings of snow, but from this point, again, up to New Year's or early January, there's nothing that screams, oh, we're getting a big snow, or we're getting 4 inches of snow, or anything like that, or even 3 inches of snow. You can see that even here. We go Thursday night, then right through around Christmas. There's our Christmas storm system. So one storm system with some rainfall. Here comes the one for Christmas with a little rain coming in right there, and even a little bit of thunder. And then there'll be another one around New Year's, but it's all rain. It's just rain and a little thunder around. But I do think after New Year's, we will get a little bit of a better shot of colder air coming in. And for the first time in a while, we'll see our first chance of decent accumulating snow. But here is the warmth. Now you will notice a few little batches, very brief cool snaps, very brief come through, but it is the warmth that dominates through December the 30th with multiple days that will climb very much above normal. However, we've got one taste of colder weather, especially early January, and I think that could be a clipper that brings snow. But I want you to notice what's happening in early January. A cross-polar flow will develop. So here's Siberia. This is Russia. And you can see all the way through the North Pole this strip of way below normal temperatures. This is brutal cold. And when you see cross-polar flow like this, it goes over the poles and then right into northwest Canada and the U.S. This is a sign of a big surge of much colder air that will be coming in. There are also signs of a stratospheric warming event. You know, we had one a few weeks ago, or several weeks ago, that preceded all this cold coming in. There will be another one that happens in later December here, and that precedes this cold shot coming in. And I think this is going to be a shot of brutally cold air that comes in mid-January. Will it be, get down to minus 25? No, but I do think we'll have some actual air temperatures that drop to about minus 15 to about minus 20, and wind chills that could reach as low as minus 40 as the polar vortex loosens and a piece of it comes down, and these temperatures will be running way below normal. We're also going to lay down a pretty deep snowpack too. After that clipper in early January, we'll probably have a mild stretch. The mid-January cold wave hits after a potentially significant snow, and then we warm back up again, and then we watch a secondary surge of much colder air coming in late January. There's that snowpack that's being projected, perhaps 7 to 11 inches on the ground mid-January. But here's the thing, between the big cold mid-January and the big second cold wave we get very into January to very early February, and again, they'll be intense, but they'll be fairly brief. We do see a warm-up, a big thaw between mid-January and the very end of January, and temperatures go above normal, but the ice jam risk will go up, because most streams will be frozen over, and then it rains and it warms up and we just jam up all the ice. So that will be a risk towards later January. And between the two Arctic blasts, again, look at this. Look at all the warmth coming in. But that's the second one right there. I showed you the first one. Here's the second one evolving here, and eventually that one will come down as well. So all that said, for the rest of the afternoon though, or for the rest of our afternoon today, we're kind of hanging out in the low to mid 20s. Tonight, temperatures don't necessarily drop a lot. They kind of hang out low to upper teens, but the wind will still be pretty brisk. So those wind chills during the morning hours tomorrow, a lot of single digits around. But then we look at the afternoon, the wind picks up, but at least it warms up. 37 for a high, gusts 27 to 36, however. Blowing and drifting initially, then the snow should get sticky enough to kind of start to gradually decrease that blowing and drifting in the afternoon. There you see the highs at 33 to 39. Wind chills in the afternoon even 22 to 29. 43 on Wednesday. Some patchy freezing fog and patchy black ice in the morning with 31 for a low. That's it. Winds out of the southwest. And then a lot of sunshine followed by thickening clouds later in the day with winds not as strong, but a breeze from the south-southwest. And there are your highs, upper 30s in the north to around 40 and some low 40s in the south. We'll call it 37 to 45 for your high temperatures. The extended forecast shows the rain, though, coming in Thursday. 2 main rounds of rain, windy and 52. Then we sharply drop rapidly in the evening into the 20s and 30s and then down to 19. There could be a few flurries and snow showers Thursday evening, Thursday night. A few little dustings can't be ruled out. But then we bounce right back to 48 on Saturday, 51 Sunday, some rain possible, maybe a couple flakes early on Monday with a high of 40. Then 40s the day before Christmas Eve itself, 50s with rainfall. And then on Christmas Day, at least right now, looks like the rain pulling away, a cloudy, windy day. Temperatures may fall some in the afternoon, so it's quite possible on Christmas morning it may be in the low 40s, and then we fall into the 30s during the afternoon, but I still kept it at 40 there, but also a windy day as well. And then probably a day or two after Christmas, we're back to the 50s with some more rainfall.